Ever seen those little circle icons on a photo, a song, or a YouTube video and kind of wondered what they're all about? Well, today we're going to decode them. We are diving into Creative Commons, the system that totally reshaped how we share and create things in the digital age. At its heart, it really all boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. For centuries, the default setting for anything creative was all rights reserved, total lockdown. You couldn't do anything without permission. But Creative Commons just flipped the script, and it created a new default, some rights reserved. It gives creators a super simple way to grant permissions right from the start. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with a big problem that copyright ran into online. Then we'll unpack the solution that Creative Commons brought to the table. We'll get to know the 4 simple building blocks of every license, see how they all fit together, and then we'll look at the incredible global impact this whole idea has had. All right, let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about copyright's big dilemma. I mean, why was a new system like this even necessary in the first place? Well, here's the fundamental conflict. The internet, by its very nature, is all about copying and sharing. It's literally in its DNA. But traditional copyright law, it sees every single one of those unauthorized copies as a potential crime. So this basically set the entire nature of the internet on a collision course with the law. And right out of that collision came this really ingenious new choice, the option for some rights reserved. So instead of looking at intellectual property as this tool to just lock things down and exclude people, Creative Commons reframed it. They saw it as a system for helping things spread. It's this intellectual property alternative that lets creators just say, hey, here's what you can do with my work, instead of just handing out a long list of things you can't. And the visionary behind all of this was a legal scholar named Lessig. See, he saw that this super strict copyright was actually stifling the internet's creative potential. His goal was to build the legal tools to create a free culture, a world where sharing, remixing, and building on each other's work wasn't just possible, but was actually legally simple. So how does it all actually work? Well, it all comes down to 4 simple, almost like Lego-style components that you can mix and match. These are the building blocks of every single Creative Commons license. Okay, first up is attribution, or just BY for short. Now, the official definition calls it an invariant condition, which is a bit of a mouthful. It's just a really fancy way of saying it's the one rule that can never, ever be optional. It's the bedrock, the absolute foundation of every single license. It doesn't matter what other permissions you're given, you always have to give credit to the original creator. This is really the core deal. You get to share, and they get the credit. Fair is fair, right? Next up, we've got non-commercial, or NC. Now, this building block lets a creator draw a line in the sand. It separates sharing for the public good from, helping someone else build their business. So if you see that NC symbol, you're totally free to use the work for a school project, your personal blog, stuff like that. But you absolutely cannot use it in any way that's primarily about making money. Simple as that. The third block is NoDerivs, or ND. This one's for creators who want their work to be shared far and wide, but only in its original untouched form. This means no remixes, no translations, no cropping a photo, no using a song as the background for your video. You can copy it and you can share it, but it has to stay exactly as you found it. And finally, we have what is maybe the most powerful and transformative block of all, ShareAlike, or SA. The source calls it a reciprocity mechanism, which is perfect. You can think of it as a way of paying it forward, but baked right into the legal code. This is the engine that makes the commons grow. It's often called copyleft. If you take a ShareAlike work and you remix it into something new, your new creation must be released under the very same license. It's a guarantee that everything stays open and keeps expanding, and it stops people from taking open work and locking it down again. Okay, so we've got our 4 building blocks, BY, NC, ND, and SA. Now let's see how they combine to build an actual license. When a creator decides they want to pick a license, they basically just answer a few simple questions. It always starts with attribution. That's a given. Then they ask, can people make money from my work? If the answer is no, they add NC. Then, can people change my work? If not, they add ND. And if they do allow changes, do they want to make sure those new versions are also shared openly? If so, they tack on SA. And that combination process gives us the 6 main licenses. You've got CC BY, which is the most open. It basically just says, go for it, just give me credit. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have CC BY NCND, which is the most restrictive. It lets you share, but that's it. No changing it, no using it commercially. And right there in the middle, you have these really powerful options like CC BY SA, which is the license that powers Wikipedia, and it requires any and all remixes to be shared under the exact same open terms. So what's the bigger picture here? What's been the result of millions of creators making these choices over the last couple of decades? This quote, which is inspired by the founder's vision, really gets to the soul of the whole project. This isn't just about getting free pictures online. It's a fundamental change in how our culture gets made. It's about giving more people the legal tools they need to actually participate in creating and sharing our culture.
And the result is this massive, legally sound shared pool of resources, an intellectual commons. It's this incredible library of photos, music, research, and educational stuff that anyone can pull from. It fuels a global remix culture where creativity is a conversation, not just a monologue. And the benefits are real. They're tangible. We see it everywhere. We see it in more access to knowledge, thanks to projects like Wikipedia. We see it in faster innovation, as researchers and startups build on open data. And we see it in education, with countless open textbooks available to anyone. It creates real, measurable value for society. So we've seen how Creative Commons gives us this elegant, really smart solution to copyright's digital dilemma. It's a system that's designed not for restriction, but for participation. And that leaves us with just one final question. Now that you have the tools, what will you share?